So I'm standing with Syrians in Turkey. I'm in the town of Rehanle, Joe, which is very close to the Syrian border. As you can see, enormous celebrations here. It's deafening, as you can see. Just joyous celebrations.
And Eric, I guess, this is a reflection of what these people and their relatives and friends have been through in Syria over the decades under the Bashar al-Assad regime. Just explain for us how brutal that regime has been and how many people have fled the country because of that into Turkey.
So particularly in the last 13 years, Joe, millions of Syrians fled overseas and hundreds of thousands died in the civil war. But prior to that, Bashar al-Assad's father, Hafez al-Assad, built a security state like no other in the world. Millions of Syrians have lost relatives to the prisons, to the repression of that state, so much so that it became known as the Kingdom of Silence. And for years, these people have been forced to live away from their homes in a foreign country, and elsewhere in Europe too, all over the world, Syrians live in exile because of that security state. They don't know what happened to their relatives. Thousands of people are being freed from prisons. Just look at the relief. Just look at the feeling. He's saying Syria. He's saying Syria freedom. Okay. Yeah, come on. He's saying that they're saying Syria freedom. Syria's free. Syria Hada, they're saying Syria is free now. This is the joy, Joe.
And Eric, can you tell us if many of these people plan to return to Syria now?
Yes, they're all saying to me, Shabab. Okay, they're saying, they're saying now they can finally return. They're saying thank you to Turkey. Thank you for looking after us. But our country, we have our country back. That's what they're telling me.
Yeah. Is there a bit of uncertainty, though, about what they're returning to and about these rebels who have taken control?
Yeah, they don't know. Many are waiting to see what happens. But, as you can see, overwhelmingly, it's just joy and relief right now. I think those questions will come later. A lot of people have been here for many, many years. They want to see what happens. They want to see how stable it is. But I'm talking to people in Syria. They are racing to the capital now. All these people, they want to go home. They want to go home.
And presumably the Turkish, and this is part of the motivation for the Turkish government having played such a key role in developments there in Syria, because the Turkish government would like to see these millions of refugees being able to head back into Syria.
Absolutely. That's one of the key reasons that the government of President Erdogan has been very supportive of Syrian opposition groups. It's not just, political and geopolitical reasons. It's domestic politics has been driving this to a large extent. Earlier this year, President Erdogan and the Turkish government tried to re-establish relationships with Syria's President Assad, and it failed. They said Assad rejected their overtures. And now we see a major assault by Turkey-backed Syrian rebel groups that has taken Damascus and led to the collapse of the Syrian regime. So in Turkey, they're saying Assad is reaping what he sowed by ignoring the overtures from Turkey. This solves a major domestic political problem for Turkey. For these people also, they're very grateful to Turkey, but they don't want to stay here. Many of them are saying they want to go home. And for Turkey, that will be an enormous relief. It takes that political pressure of President Erdogan. He is a real victor in this, actually. For years, he was criticised for his support of Syrian refugees, for Turkey accepting so many. It caused him a lot of headaches. And also, you know, there were big questions about his support for Syrian opposition groups and Turkey's role in interference in Syria. And Turkey had a major role in the Idlib province, which came under attack 4 years ago. Turkey's military has been heavily involved in northern Syria. All of that now appears to have been vindicated.
And Eric, we can see the obvious joy of the people around you there, the joy and the joy and the optimism. You're close. We might just have to leave it there because I don't think Eric's going to be able to hear us. But yeah, just live shots there from the Turkey-Syria border.